entertainment news today. It's such a dragon gay. Everything sucks and it's no good. That comes out of Hollywood. But there's one place you can go to get all your news and info, and maybe even have a laugh or two. You know it's true. Midnight's Edge after dark is life. We stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight's Edge after dark. All those bombs and flops, but MEAD never stops. We will keep going through the night as we keep up the culture fight. Midnight's Edge after dark is life. We stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight's Edge after dark.
Good evening. Welcome to the program. Tonight's guest is Godzilla. He's already anxious to get out here. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever it is you're having right now. We have CC Karaoke coming in from Canada. How you doing?
Glad to be here. We're just saying behind the chat. I guess there was no like early showings of the Naked Gun, so that didn't happen. But perhaps we can see it later.
Yeah, so actually, I'll just say it now. For those who don't know, I'm going to try and see it after this show. So I'm going to might come back here and actually talk about it tonight. So keep that in mind. In the meantime, we also have Professor R2. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. Glad to be here. Yeah, I don't know what to think about Naked Gun, man. I want it to be good, but just I don't know. Maybe I've had too many black pills. I don't know.
Yeah, it's getting such rave reviews.
Well, you know what? One thing
keeps hovering around 100% on Rotten Tomatoes for the critics. Sorry, CC. Go
one
ahead.
thing can be said about it is it had a fantastic ad campaign. Like whoever thought up the shit for just advertising this movie and talking it up, give them a promotion.
The rescue comedy trailer, whatever that they did.
Yeah. And then you know what? At an 85-minute runtime, that makes me feel like maybe they're backing up their words a little bit there. This is not a 2.5 hour movie.
Oh.
Shortened to the point, 85 minutes,
Right.
like a classic comedy would be.
Exactly.
So.
That's right where a comedy needs to be, because you don't want comedies to overstay their welcome. Because
I was kind of reminded of that with I almost said Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore too.
Yeah.
Right. Like the first one's pretty tight, 90 minutes. The second one's 2 hours long, and I'm sitting here going, you know, I wonder if they'd have cut out all the flashbacks, how much shorter this movie would be.
It would have been 45 minutes if they cut out the flashback.
I don't know about that, but I mean, I think it'd be more normal length. And then like the one flashback I think we kind of needed, we didn't get. And that's kind of the one in the intro. Because for those who don't know, it's been out long enough now. So spoilers, like the same thing that happened to his dad in the first movie happens to his wife in this one. And that's the only time they don't do any flashback. And the first time I saw it, I had totally forgot that that's the exact same way his dad died.
Yep.
Yeah, so did I. And that's that.
So
that
I'm like,
confused me. I
oh,
was
so
like,
it's
why'd you
kind
do
of a
that?
callback to that, but it also is a catalyst setting up the whole story. So like, yeah, after the first few minutes, I was pissed, and that's when I shut it off after they killed that character. And then he, spoilers, he loses the house, which to me kind of undoes the first movie then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it when they
Yeah.
do that stuff. It's like,
But at least this movie is kind of like, as it got going, because, if you watch the first movie, you notice there's this real kind of like through line that's very similar to Rocky, right? It's subtle. And then this one, it feels like there's this through line that's very close to Rocky Balboa. It's there, but it's subtle. And I think that's kind of where it was set up that way. Not to mention, obviously, Adam just wanted to put his wife in the movie. And she probably got jealous. I don't know. No, I thought it was all right. I don't know. Have you seen it yet, Professor R2?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, we watched it this weekend with the family. So
did you enjoy it?
I did. It was by no means a masterpiece of cinema. It was, for a silly comedy, especially for an Adam Sandler comedy in this day and age, it was very enjoyable. I got a few great laughs out of it. Most of it was in the middle, and there was definitely stuff about the plot for Happy Gilmore 2 that I was like, okay, so it's just the first movie again. It is
in a lot of ways, but it's not done like Coming to America 2.
No, it's not nearly as bad as Coming to America 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some bits like there was him updating his happy place.
Yes.
That I was rolling during that. That was hilarious. Some of the crazy stuff with the new golf league. Obviously, if you know anything about golf, follow golf. I'm not big into it, but I know a bit about it from osmosis from some people around me, and like Live Golf, and there's also it's TGF TGL. Tomorrow's Golf League. There's these other new startup golf leagues that are trying to make golf more interesting. So they were taking that and making that a plot in there. There were a lot of cameos. There were so many cameos and callbacks. And honestly, the cameos that involved the actual golfers, I rather liked that. Like they had all the
John Daly stuff was really good too.
The John Daly stuff was actually hilarious, especially since he wasn't a character. He was just himself. Which was ridiculous.
I think my favorite line in the movie is, don't forget to feed John Daly 3 times a day, and you don't let him sleep in my bed. And if he does, don't give him M&Ms.
Yeah, if he does, no M&Ms. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Was
it a fantastic film? No. It had lots of problems. Did I get a few fun laughs out of it? Did I enjoy myself kind of hanging out with the family? Sure. It's not going to win awards. It's better than anything he's put on Netflix so far. My God.
Absolutely.
What was that? Anyway. What was that first thing that he put out? The
Ridiculous Six, I think was the first
Six.
thing. Yeah.
Oh my, I couldn't even make it through that.
Yeah, I don't think I watched that
awful.
one.
It was so awful. So
CC,
yeah, I mean, it's a good callback to the classic stuff, but not as good.
CC, did you see it yet? I can't remember if we talked about it or not.
Yeah, on Tuesday.
Yeah, we did.
Like I said, I mean, I also quite enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I think maybe my issue with it is the pacing. Just because you're right, it's almost 2 hours, so it could really benefit from like a fan edit down to that 90 to 100 minute range, and yet at the same time, other than the unnecessary flashbacks, I don't know. I mean, there were so many great jokes in the first 2/3 of the movie that I don't really know what I would easily cut out.
I know for sure I'd cut out at least 2 cameos that were children of the original characters.
Yeah, there was a little bit of unnecessary stuff there.
Like the Eminem character, basically, and
tighten up the presentation of the third act. But I mean, like I said, I don't know if I like it better or worse than the first movie. So I think that's praise.
That's a strange kind of like way to look at it too, because like the first one is considered like royalty. So like,
yeah.
So all right, let's get into the news, because Soul Nightmare actually gets us on one of the topics. So let's start there. Why not? Gunn said it's still semi-sequel. It's not World's Finest or Legion of Superheroes. So unless it's Supergirl, Superman, I have no clue what it is. So what is Soul Nightmare talking about here? And thank you for the $5. Well, what Soul Nightmare is talking about is James Gunn, as he does, likes to send the internet in a tizzy whenever he drops something. So he was asked about, what was it on? Socials or whatever the hell you call it.
Yeah.
So they was talking to somebody and talking about press, what he's up to next, and he goes Peacemaker Press, and then sequel writing. And then the individual he was talking to said, I'm a little confused right now. Is the same movie you've been talked about in the past, the one where you said Superman had a major role but wasn't exactly a sequel, or is it a different movie and this one is actually Superman 2? Yes, sorry, this is the same movie. Superman has a major role. It's not Superman 2. So this is kind of going off that interview he gave, what was it, last week? Or the week before, where when his final interview in the Superman run, where they asked about what was next, and he was kind of being all vague and not really wanting to say. And a lot of people were speculating, I think it's going to be a World's Finest team-up film. So what do you guys think? Professor R2, let's start with you. Is that what you're thinking, or do you think something else completely?
I don't know what to think at this point. It feels like it's gone all over the place. They kind of, for a long time, it felt like they were hinting that it was going to be like a world's finest kind of situation. And now, well, no, it's not that, but it's not Superman 2, but it's a sequel. But I have no idea. I mean, there is plenty of different ways they can go with this. Obviously, this first movie, you can argue about it or not, but it wasn't a Superman film. It had a bunch of other characters in it. It wasn't, he was the central character, but it had a bunch of other characters in it too. And it was called Superman. What's the next one going to be? They're going to have a bunch of other different characters. Is there going to be some sort of story that plays out that has a semi Justice League in it? Is he going to be part of the Justice Gang? I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm kind of in the same boat there, because clearly what he was trying to do with this movie was to just throw everybody into the middle of an established universe. He didn't really take any time to just make it a Superman movie and introduce the origins of Superman. And I don't necessarily mind that. We've had a lot of origin movies. I don't mind the alternative approach of saying, okay, let's just jump right into the middle of it. But I also found it a little bit confusing. Both as somebody who necessarily has not read all the comic books, but maybe watched the TV shows and the movies. So I'm not a lore head necessarily, but just because I felt the pacing was a little bit jumbled. It was a lot of characters to throw in all at once. So it was like, what, Superman 2? I mean, what is he actually doing with this universe right now? We got Supergirl coming up, right? And
I think he's going to be in that. He's going to be in Peacemaker season 2.
So there's going to be ensembles with every movie that just has a name attached to it. As I guess that's technically the lead of.
I don't know how much he'll be in Supergirl, because I have a feeling that's going to take place off planet. I think he'll just be in the beginning and maybe the end. Yeah. But I get what you're saying. Like, I disagree a little bit. I think Superman was a little bit more central in the film than most people give it credit for, but I'm not going to argue that point right now. But yeah, I wonder if it might be something like a Legion of Superheroes type movie. Could be a Justice League International movie where they kind of set up, the rest of those guys in their positions, also setting up like a new Justice League. Because we also know Wonder Woman and Batman are on the way. And I know Wonder Woman is a priority. And I've been hearing stuff about that. Even before he was talking about it this last week. And we talked about it, a month ago now? A little bit. So like, a lot of the stuff that I've been kind of hearing is a similar stuff that's out there. So it's nothing really new yet. And I don't have anything to add to this other than I just know they're working on stuff. So we'll have to see. He says, define Superman 2, and all that kind of business. So yeah, I don't know if Superman will be the central character in whatever he works on next, but we'll have to see.
I mean, I see Goddess of Women in the chat saying, I wish I cared. And I kind of am in that boat where I need to be more invested in it. I'm willing to be invested in it. And maybe a couple movies down the line in this universe, I come back to Superman, give it another chance, and start to invest myself if it goes well, right? So I'm not giving up on it. But I'm also looking at a movie that's just sort of eking past 500 million. It's not blowing the doors off. I mean, it's like, hey, it made more than, the other movie that we
need to kind of temper this right now, because here's the thing. Because Marvel come out and said the same fucking thing James Gunn did a few weeks ago, and ain't nobody saying shit about that, right? Because they said the same thing. None of these movies are going to make $1 billion anymore. They can't expect them to. And this is their excuses for Fantastic Four, because they know that Fantastic Four is going to come in under Superman. Because at this point, it's underperforming. By a lot. But yeah. So this is what I've been saying for a while, and other people have been saying. This is why I classify this as a success. Now, would I say it's a blockbuster hit? No. But we're in an era where the superhero movie isn't that anymore, right? And this is why I also don't believe the nonsense about the budget for this movie, because what I've heard is the same thing that's coming out in the press now, and that is that Clayface and Supergirl are going to be cheaper, and that's what I've been hearing anyway, because Clayface is going to be dirt fucking cheap. I hope the press is even saying more than what I heard.
Clayface has to be cheap because it's not going to make that much money. It's just not.
I wonder if there's going to be. Here's the thing. I wonder if there's going to be. We get introduced to our Batman in that movie. I wouldn't be surprised because it's based on a Batman animated series episode. And there's been a lot of buzz about who's going to be Batman, and I've had some feelers out there, and I've had All I've gotten back is that what's his face, Reacher, the guy from Reacher, Richson, Alan Richson.
Yeah.
His people have discussed it. They haven't said necessarily if they discussed it with Warner Brothers yet or if it's what, but that's one of those things that is on the table. And there's been a few other names thrown about as the possible Batman already. So that tells me
I don't know about
that they're
Richson,
probably
man.
looking for their Batman already. So they know, because they'll have him in Clayface setting up Batman, Brave and the Bold or whatever. Yeah. But then play the high note says, in all fairness, Superman 1 wasn't Superman 1. It was a Justice Gang 1. And I mean, some people feel that way. I didn't think they dominated as much as I thought they were going to from the trailers. But I also have that prequel novel I'm going to check out. Oh, Yellow Flash is here. It says Fantastic Four is a pile of trash. Well, yeah, it's pretty much looking that way at this moment.
Yeah. Fantastic Four, first missteps.
Yeah, I should come up with a voice for Super Tom. Well, if Bat Tom is down here like this, Super Tom would be up here like this. He'd be all thinking he's sexy and shit. Yeah, I'd have to come up with a Super Tom. Anyhow, I just thought that was kind of interesting, and that's one of the main things that people are talking about today. So, yeah. So,
No,
yeah,
I hope they...
Go ahead.
I hope they actually try making movies for less money. I'm willing to invest in an ensemble kind of storyline, but just give me something that's not $300 million to produce, and I'm still interested. What I want is to be invested in the world. And again, I know we can disagree about how much we liked Superman or not. One thing I'll actually give Fantastic Four over Superman was that art design. I didn't love the art design in Superman from what I saw. I didn't feel like the city that they introduced us to, his home city, was really a place. You know, if that makes sense. I was looking.
In all fairness,
like
I felt the opposite. Like, because that's the thing with Fantastic Four is it is set in an alternate, like, utopian 1960s, like that never actually existed.
Yeah,
fair. But I mean, I remember the set pieces a little bit more, even though I wouldn't call it memorable, and it's certainly not like the original Tim Burton Batman's memorable. And that's kind of, that's a high bar to compare to. But like those first two Batman films, that city was a real character in the film, right? I was looking at Lex's office, and Superman is just like it's the top of a skyrise with windows, and everything's white, and there's like computers and stuff, you know, or even you know the.
I don't know. I liked the kind of quasi-futuristic mixed with the golden age kind of look that Superman pulled off. But I can see where Fantastic Four, I guess, pulled it off a bit better, I guess, and more stylized. I can agree with that. But speaking of stylized, we're getting a new Bond film that's going to be stylized by Peaky Blinders creator Stephen Knight. That's a name we hear quite often. Mm-hmm. So I'm not the Bond fan on the panel. So I'm going to have to leave this up to you guys. I've never even seen Peaky Blinders, so I don't know if he's a very good writer or not. What else has he written besides that? I know his name because he's done other stuff. But
probably the biggest thing you might have heard of would be Eastern Promises, Dirty Pretty Things.
I got to look up his IMDb.
Yeah, I'm looking up his stuff real quick here. Like, I do remember, like, I haven't seen a lot of these, but I do remember, like, Taboo.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I know he's a big TV guy.
Yeah, he's done a lot of TV. I have seen part of Peaky Blinders. It's actually something I've meant to get back to. I kind of fell off of it, like in the second season, and just
I'm in that same boat. Yeah.
Never came back to it. And honestly, I did enjoy what I watched. It was just kind of a situational, like, I don't have time to watch this anymore kind of thing. And it just fell off of it. And then I think maybe I lost it off of whatever streaming service, or I lost the streaming service I was watching it on or something. And it's something I wanted to go back to. I did find it interesting. I don't know. I'm glad to know that they've got somebody who's, an experienced writer. And what's Amazon going to do with James Bond? What's Denis Villeneuve going to do with James Bond? I really don't know. I feel like James Bond has been treated so badly over the past 10 years. I'm not even sure I want to see another James Bond film. They're going to have to do some serious convincing if they're going to bring me to the theater for this.
What about you, CC?
I'm kind of in that same boat. First, I mean, I'm sort of aware of his work. Again, like it's like there's a couple of shows that I really, really should finish, and it's kind of stupid that I haven't. Like I've seen the first 2 seasons of The Wire, and I haven't seen the rest of it somehow. And I put Peaky Blinders in that grouping because I know it's good, and I've heard nothing but great things about it. But I have to actually like complete it, right?
Mhm.
I don't, but I mean, in that sense, I don't think it's a bad hire. But I could also say the same thing about Denis Villa, whatever the fuck his name is. I don't necessarily hate him from the standpoint of his talent as a director, but I don't know if it's going to work. So, I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, Casino Royale was the last Bond movie that I straight up liked. I didn't hate the second, and I'll say I didn't hate the second and third Daniel Craig movies. I thought they were fine. I think the second one maybe even more so gets a little overlooked. But
Quantum of Solace.
yeah, I mean it was flat.
Exactly.
It
Oh yeah.
was very flat. But I think in I'm just saying in comparison to what we got later on, it actually at least feels like an attempt was made at James Bond in that case. If that makes any sense. It feels a lot more James Bond than where we ended up. So I mean, we'll see. I guess is what I'm getting at here, for lack of a better words. These two people are not enough for me to make any kind of decision on what I think is happening here. But
yeah, Denis makes some incredibly beautiful films. Really interesting sort of, visual set pieces, but I just don't know about him telling a James Bond, sort of an action film like that. I just don't know. I like him well enough. I just, yeah. And then, the Peaky Blinders, definitely, good show. Like I said, same as UCC. I want to go back to it and finish it. It's a matter of, finding time among all the other things that I'm watching and paying attention to. But, yeah, neither of these names is something that's like, oh, that's it. You've got me. You've hooked me. I'm into this next Bond. They've just done such a disservice to this franchise in recent years. They're going to have to wow me somehow. There's going to have to be something here that's just really, really says, oh, this is going to be good to get me to the theaters. Because especially the last couple of Craig Bond films were awful. Absolutely awful. And I just don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
If we were in a really good place with James Bond right now,
yes.
If we were, I would say that Denis films very pretty looking movies, and he's a very capable director from just a strictly directing talent perspective. And I would say that Stephen Knight is a far better writer to hire than any one of the TV plagues that we see get hired to big budget, big IP movies lately. Like, he's actually got a resume that's worth a damn. So if we were in a better place with the franchise in general, I would say, you know what? This is a good foundation. My trepidation comes from the fact that it's not in a good place. And that just because you have somebody who's capable of directing a movie and making it look pretty, and somebody who has an actually pretty good writing resume, it does not necessarily mean it's going to turn out to be a good movie, because they still have to, like who's going to play James Bond and what's the story going to be. And I mean, my optimism might come from the fact that we are exiting the era of messaging politics in movies a little bit more. The fact that this is in production at a time where, we see more of the Sydney Sweeney era. Might suggest that we'll get some actual Sydney Sweeneys in the movie.
You feel like we're on that sort of the teetering point here, where like it could go either way. It could fall back to like a movie that was made in the last 5 years, or it could move forward and be something that was that is less of that, less of the woke, less of the identity politics, less of the feminism and all of that stuff, and we leave all of that out and just make a movie. Honestly, I feel like what they really need to do with this film, with the James Bond films is to just go back and make them period pieces. Stop trying to make a modern Bond. This is a character who's supposed to have been in World War II, and he was a spy after that, and he's during the Cold War and all this stuff, and that's where the character originated. That's where the character belongs. Trying to make a modern, sensitive, more less masculine, more in touch with his feelings Bond. I just don't think it works.
Yeah, and I think everybody is kind of, almost everybody across the board. I've only heard a few people say they don't want that. I mean, I think, and this is coming from somebody who isn't a Bond fan, so this is completely outside, taking everybody else, what they're saying, and putting it into like what I think would work best. And I agree with you guys. I think setting it in the 60s like it's a history that we never get to know because he's James Bond, right? He's a spy. So this is why we don't hear about these things. He saved us all these times, we didn't know it. And plus you can add in some of the retro futurism, because that's what I feel like a lot of these things are probably missing too, from what I've seen just from the trailers and the reactions from people. It's like, does he even really have any cool gadgets and shit anymore? Like, that feels like that's something that kind of went to the wayside. I could be wrong, but because I haven't seen the new movies, but I'm just asking because I feel like that's where you could also have fun, because I almost feel like you've lost a lot of what made James Bond by trying to make him so modern. And it's kind of the same thing I feel like that kind of interferes with some of these comic book characters too. And that's why I didn't, and at least the one thing they did get right with Fantastic Four was setting it in at least some sort of 1960s, right? But yeah, so I agree with you guys. And I think that's probably the best route for them. I just don't know if they'll do that.
Any excuse you can come up with to remove cell phones from a movie, and I know Script Doctor, if he was here, could get on that one.
Trust me, I even remember when I was script doctoring myself that was one of there was one big point of contention in the script. And I'm like, is this, because this writer I was working with, my partner, he had this contraption in the script that blocked cell phone waves, so they couldn't use cell phones. And I'm like, do you really need this whole, is this thing even real? I asked him, first of all. He goes, oh yeah, it's real. I'm like, but I'm like, I didn't even know about it. So how is anybody else going to know about it? And I think the audience is going to say it's bullshit. Right. And it just so happened there was an incident in the thing. I'm like, why don't we just have it to where they knock out one of the cell phone towers? It would be, it makes so much more sense for the fucking audience than doing this whole weird thing. Like, anyhow. But yeah, no, you're not wrong. And cell phones are the biggest problem, especially with horror films.
Bond does need gadgets. He needs cool gadgets, but he doesn't need technology that is so far advanced that it takes away the suspense and the thrill of the actual spy stuff, right? And cell phones are going to go there. If you have cameras on every single wall and like classic 1960s Bond, the surveillance is like, oh wow, satellites are like a new impressive thing, and they might be able to sort of see them, right?
Right, like what James Bond used in the 60s, you have on your cell phone now, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, exactly.
Scale that back a little bit.
That's what I'm getting at is, that way you can put it in a world where all these things don't exist, so Bond does have an advantage with his gadgets. And you can come up with wacky gadgets. It doesn't have to be all grounded.
Die Another Day is like the golden James Bond example of overkill.
With the gadgets, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you can get to that point like with Austin Powers, right? Like, you don't want to go that far. But I know you're joking, Paulie, but he's already been rumored as a possible Bond villain for this movie.
Oh my God. Bond villain?
I don't want to encourage them.
No.
Well, that's where I said I think that's where he belongs, and he should do so.
Yeah,
and I'm not kidding.
After all the miscastings, that one might actually make sense.
Get him back where he belongs, into the character roles and the villains and
But I don't want to encourage them at this point. I'm just tired of it.
I want to encourage him to put him where he fucking belongs.
Yeah.
You're right.
He'll shave his mustache for that role. Son of
You can keep it for that one. So let's see what you guys are talking about. We got Marks47, who's been here for 51 months. Thank you for the support, my friend. Action oh my gosh, it's National Ice Cream Sandwich Day. I wonder if I can get a free National Ice Cream Sandwich somewhere for free. Oh, that's August 2nd. And the National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day is August 4th. They are upon us. Don't tell 6. All right, I won't tell Mikey either. I'm curious if I can get a free sandwich somewhere. Jason Webster says, South Korean horror comedy My Daughter is a Zombie has broken the opening day attendance record for any film in South Korea. You know what's funny, Jason? I actually heard this for once. I don't know what this thing is. And if I had a daughter that was a zombie, I'd be blowing her head off. But Just saying. I mean, she was my daughter, and I miss my daughter, but she's not as my daughter anymore. She's a flesh-eating monster.
Go Day of the Dead with it and try and train her.
Oh, Lord. Or Shaun of the Dead. I love Day of the Dead. Bub. He's
that's my favorite.
Yeah.
It's not always the popular choice, but every day
I
of the
know,
week,
me too,
that's my
man,
favorite.
right? Like, everybody chooses Dawn of the Dead, but to me, it's like Day of the Dead, man. Day of the Dead. That's the one that's got all the good shit in it. Say hello to Aunt Alicia. I want to know what the fuck you're doing with our time, Frankenstein.
Fantastic opening shot. I was going to say that about that movie too.
Every line he says, I swear, he doesn't say it. He just screams it. Every line. What the fuck are you doing down there? You just jerking us off. I'm in charge now. I just love that fucking movie. All right, we're on a tangent now. So with that, we're going to wrap this up early. You want to know why? I know this is a really fucking short show. Because A, there's nothing else to talk about besides Sydney Sweeney. And as much as I would love to talk about Sydney Sweeney, I'm going to go see The Naked Gun. So if any of these other gentlemen or anybody else gets a chance to see it, they may join me later when I pop back here and I'll tell you what I think about it. Is it the movie the critics are saying it is? Or will the audience turn on it because it's woke garbage? I think we're about to find out. Sooner than later. Boobs.
Yes. Sydney Sweeney is hot. And she does have good genes.
Very good genes. Although I would never say that American Eagle was a great, like, that's the funny thing about this whole thing. Is like,
Yeah.
They were like bottom of the barrel fucking like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
They batted out of their league and they nailed Sydney Sweeney. So
fucking A right.
respect.
Yeah, this is like the nerd nailing the fucking prom queen.
Yeah.
And not only that, he knocked her up and they're getting married.
Yeah. I mean, and oh yeah, it's the hilarity also just of all the attention that it's gotten
On
that
both
it's just-
sides, right?
that it has brought even more attention to American Eagle. It brought them even more business.
Yep.
With all these people, screaming into their cell phones on
Yep.
TikTok. So it's quite hilarious, to be honest.
Honestly, yeah, between the American Eagle thing and the South Park thing, the last few weeks have been kind of a good way to gauge who's the extremes on both ends. It's been kind of interesting to see.
Well, wasn't that about
but-
South Park too? Like they're just getting huge ratings despite the fact.
That's what I just said. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, I mean,
Sorry.
it's because they're finally, I mean, look, and if you watch it, if you take a lot of that shit so seriously, it's like, come on, guys. They're not necessarily saying anything that the other guys are saying. They're just doing what South Park does.
Yeah.
Yes, some of the jokes might be easy, low-hanging fruit, but you got to remember what these guys have been going through for the last year, and they're pissed. And I think they're more pissed at Paramount than anybody. That's what I felt like most people weren't noticing in that whole episode. It's like, you do realize that they're basically calling out Paramount for all this shit, and then they're also throwing Colbert under the bus. Because even Trump can come out and say, yeah, no, I had nothing to do with Colbert being canceled. And I believe him. You want to know why? Because of that South Park episode. Do you think CBS would have let that happen? You think Paramount would have let that happen? If they were that afraid of Trump coming back at them? Or if what part of the stipulation was they can't be having Colbert or any other anti-Trump stuff on their networks? I don't think so.
I mean, I don't mind the dick jokes. I was perfectly happy with them being all over the place and Happy Gilmore too, and I accept that's going to be like it's going to be part of South Park, so that's fine.
They kind of did with the whole COVID thing, guys, and they have been on before, like back in the day. Like, I get it, a lot of people are like that, but you also have to understand they weren't on the air half the time either when Kamala and Biden were in office, and they did hit on some things. Although I feel like they should have went harder, probably. But there's some stuff in there if you look around. We'll see where this goes. I don't even think it's Trump anyway, and most people agree with me.
No,
It's clearly Saddam
it's
Hussein, because if
It's
anybody
not
who
Trump.
watches the show, who actually watches the show, guess what? This is not the first time Saddam has done something like this, if it is. He already did it once to the Prime Minister of Canada. I mean, this is an ongoing thing with Saddam. So I'm pretty sure it is Saddam in a Trump mask, pretty much.
And it also looks like they're leaning into Cartman in the next episode, which I'd say, go with that. There's a lot to unpack there.
Well, that was the best part of the episode, right? Where Cartman was lost because he didn't know his place in the world anymore.
Yeah. Which is why I'm really looking forward to this next episode, because it looks like they're probably going to go with like a Charlie Kirk angle. But I think what he's going to be out there doing is he's going to be getting entertainment from all of the woke that he can find. And the best way to find it is to go out like Charlie Kirk and basically like attract these people to him,
right?
To argue with them about it. So I don't know. We'll wait and see. It looks
Carly and Rogue. I think September is when Beavis and Butthead starts, if I'm not mistaken. If I remember from the trailer, because they just dropped a third season trailer not too long ago. We watched it. What was it? A week ago with you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jason Webster says, could say Sydney Sweeney is an expert in genealogy. Oh. And the jokes write themselves, folks. But Sydney Sweeney, her initials are SS. So, yeah.
Oh, is King of the Hill next week?
Yes, King of the Hill starts.
Yes, it is. King of the Hill is next week. And you get new Beavis and Butthead September 3rd. So you got just a little over a month.
I liked the trailer for King of the Hill. It actually has me interested.
I was real on the fence for that one. And then the recent couple of trailers, the little clips that have come out, I'm all in. I want to see this. I'm ready for it.
Do you realize it'll have been since 1997 was the last time we had King of the Hill and Beavis and Butthead new episodes at the same time?
Jeez.
That was when Beavis and Butthead ended, and that was the year that King of the Hill started. Pretty sure that was when Beavis and Butthead ended. Was it 97 or 98? Let me know, kids. If not, it's 98. One of the two. Yeah. It's first run, anyway.
Soul Nightmare says, Mike Judge.
Yeah.
Quarter century later, and he's still writing.
These trailers for King of the Hill look like he's definitely nailing some shit here with this.
Well, he's nailing it with Beavis and Butthead. Why not also be?
But I mean, he's really going in with the trans and the woke shit and yeah. If you've seen some of the trailers, it's like, oh man, I can't believe they're getting away with some of this stuff. It's not that risque, but just for Mike Judge and being on Disney and stuff like that. So yeah. Soul Nightmare says, just throwing it out there, Martian Manhunter, Clark could be helping John adapt to Earth after everything he just went through would make sense. Okay. I'm going to kind of put a little nugget out there. I wonder if what he's talking about, it might not even be a movie. Because did you guys remember hearing that there was supposed to be some kind of Christmas special?
That would be very James Gunn.
Now, remember, there was the Martian Manhunter episode of the Christmas special of Superman.
Yeah, it's a great episode.
I have a hunch from some of the stuff I've been kind of hearing that might be one of the things he's working on. So that would kind of be like a quasi Superman sequel, but it would also be just like the Superman Christmas special where he takes Martian Manhunter home to the Ma and Pa Kent kind of thing with like the episode. And he teaches him about Christmas. I wouldn't be surprised. So, just a nugget. Mark the calendar that I said it here. Because it wouldn't be for this year, it'd be for next Christmas. Keep that in mind. Yeah. But yeah, I loved the Guardians Christmas special. Did you guys see that?
Oh yeah, that was great. I have all the Kevin Bacon stuff in there.
It's inspired. They kidnapped Kevin Bacon to give it to Star Wars for Christmas.
He's depressed, so he's going to bring him his dad.
His hero. Yeah. The world was single-handedly saved by dancing by Kevin Bacon. Lord Kamina 2 says Clark better believe Santa lead wraps his presents. Yeah, lead wraps. Sorry, not lead wraps. Yeah, wasn't that part of the joke in the episode? Was that the Kents had to always wrap Clark's gifts in some sort of lead so he couldn't see what they were.
Yes. Yeah, there was they had to have lead wrapping on the presents so he couldn't peek. Yep.
But all right, let's get out of here. We got a little bit longer. I gave you guys a few extra minutes because I got to run now. I want to go see this movie. So I'll come back and let you guys know Professor R2, if you get a chance to see it, you're more than welcome to pop in here, though. I think you'll be busy later with Price of Reason over on...
Yep. I'll be busy
the
with
Night
Price of
Owl.
Reason a little later, 11:45 Eastern with the Night Owl. So, yep.
If I manage to see it, I'll hop in. If not, then I won't.
All right. Well, I was going to ask you what you were up to, and if not, check out CC Karaoke's channels. So I think you have more than one now. You have a few, don't you?
I've got 2. One time I was planning on having like 10, but I was like, wait, that's just so much more complicated. So I'm sticking with 2.
Why'd you have to go and make things so complicated on CC Karaoke? All right, kids. Thank you for being here. I will see you in a few hours, hopefully. Take care of yourselves and each other. We'll see you on the flip side.
Cute kitty.